Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to get into the top 10 most expensive games in my game collection. So I've got some pretty cool ones here, some pretty more expensive than I thought, to be honest with you. I have an app called GameEye that I use to track everything, and it takes prices directly from price charting. I was pretty blown away by some of the prices, even though in the top 10 there's some they're all relatively expensive, but for whatever reason these kind of blew me away. So we're gonna get started with number 10, which is the Ark the Lad collection for the PlayStation 1. It's complete. I picked it up in a deal recently, and it's by the Working Designs company, which they're right there. Pretty much any time you see Working Designs on a video game or even Atlas, you should probably have a look at the price. If it's decent, look it up. Might be worth something. For whatever reason, these games are worth quite a bit of money. Working Designs used to put a lot of time and effort into their packaging, and they would put a lot of time into ensuring that the customer would get a high quality product, where you can't really say that for a lot of other game companies, especially nowadays when they don't even include a manual anymore. Half the time you'd be lucky to just get a disc or a cartridge. So, and with the new PS5 Pro coming out, there's no disc drive, so who knows, maybe that's the end of physical media with video games as we know it. You never know, but it's a possibility. So number 10, Ark the Lad, and that's coming in at $196. Number 9 on my list is an NES classic. Probably, it's gotta be like a top 3 best NES game of all time. And I'm pretty lucky to have this complete in box, and that is Contra. So you can't really go wrong with Contra. I mean, like, come on, it's a great game. Honestly, I haven't played too much of it. Played it here and there, but the times I have played it, I mean, it's great. You can't really go wrong. It's just a side-scrolling shooter. You can play with 2 players. Yeah, like what more can I really say? Contra, $197. Number 8, we have a PS1 game. This is also by Working Designs, and it's Alundra. Now comment below, I haven't actually played this game yet. Didn't even hear about it until I picked it up, but it was in that lot of crazy games that I got Ark the Lad in. But yeah, no, it's also a Working Designs game. The case is scratched, so definitely in the market for a new case to upgrade that, but yeah, pretty cool looking game. It looks like a Zelda clone almost. So, I mean, but once again, Working Designs comes through with the amazing designs on the cases. Everything is so shiny. It's like almost like a hollow pattern. I don't know if you could see that on the front, but it definitely, it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's definitely like an adventure game. It looks kind of like Zelda, almost like Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. So there you go. Alundra for the PS1 coming in at $199. Next up, we have a game that I've talked about already in a previous video, which is some of my most expensive games for the PS1, and that's Xenogears. And that is worth $203 right now on the market. So that's like, it's what haven't I really said about Xenogears? I mean, I haven't personally said a lot, but the game itself is it's a Squaresoft game. It's a role-playing game. It's a good game. I've played maybe an hour of it so far, and I'm just starting to get into it, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a pretty futuristic game. It's got a lot of mature type elements to it, so it's a little bit more adult friendly, I guess. But it's a fun game. So I'm looking forward to playing that more. And once again, that's Xenogears at number 7. Number 6, we have another PS1 classic, and I also picked this up in the same collection as Arc the Lad and Alundra, and that is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. You'll notice with a lot of the PS1 games that I'm picking up is I'm really trying to go for all the black labels. I'm trying to stay away from the greatest hits ones unless I absolutely have to. So just for the collection, I just think it looks better. Having those green spines kind of irritate me a little bit, but honestly, it's not the end of the world. I have some games from my childhood that have that greatest hits logo, and it is what it is. I'm never going to get rid of those games, but ideally, in a perfect world, just having it on your collection with all the black spines, they look so good. So number 6, $217, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. An amazing game. If you haven't heard of it, like, where have you been? But yeah, check it out. It's a great game. An absolute classic. So check that one out. Number 5 on my list at $238, we have one of my favorite games of all time that I've probably beaten quite a few handful of times as well. And it's in a plastic seal type of container because of just how much I love it. And it's Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo. Now I've got the box. It's got everything except for, well, there's no instruction manual, no map, or no poster, but it's the game is inside. It's got the box. So I'm just missing quite a bit of the inserts, pretty much all the inserts, but this is a classic, guys. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Final Fantasy, the franchise itself, is legendary. So you can't go wrong with the box copy of Final Fantasy III. So there you go, coming in at number 5. Number 4, which is a game I picked up for $150 a few years ago, and it's doubled or almost tripled in value since then, is a absolute classic for the Super Nintendo. Some might regard it as the greatest game of all time ever made by any company, but for any system, and that's Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo. Picked this up for $150. It's worth $290 now. Like, are you kidding me? It's an amazing game. It's mint. Like, the label is so minty on it. I don't know if you could see it, but it's perfect. Everything on it is clean. I've got it in this little plastic sealy case right here. Eventually I'll upgrade to an acrylic one, but what a game. Like, you can't go wrong. Chrono Trigger at number 4. And number 3, we got probably my most iconic game as a kid. I mean, what more can I say? It's Pokemon Gold, everybody, for the Game Boy Color. Complete in box. Complete in box. Are you kidding me? Like, just unbelievable. I've actually had this game, yeah, probably since I was 12, 13 years old. And I lost the box for years. And then recently, I popped into my parents' place and I found it. So I actually found the manual, I found the game. Oh, and look, I actually just realized that it's in French. So I've got the French manual. I actually don't know if I have, no, there's no English in here at all. So maybe I don't have it complete in box, maybe I lied, but I'll still give you, I've got the Nintendo Power insert, and yeah, there's the game. So yeah, maybe I screwed up. Maybe it's not complete. I am technically missing the English instructions, but you know what? I got the French ones, and that does just as good for me. I'm not going to end up reading them anyway, but there you go. Pokemon Gold for the Game Boy Color, coming in at $310. Okay, we're coming down to the last 2. So number 2, it's a little bit of an unconventional one. It's probably the most popular game of all time, but it's a little unique in the sense that it's actually graded. But it's Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers for the NES, graded a WADA 7.5 complete in box. So yeah, there you go. History behind this, I picked this up from a guy who was selling it in some remote town, and it came, well, actually originally I wanted the NES console complete in box, the action set, so I got that. And he said, oh, by the way, this game is with it too. Do you want it? And it was loose. I mean, it was in the box and everything. And I said, yeah, sure. And he's like, oh, I'll just throw it in. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I got a complete in-box copy of Super Mario, and it is clean. And the only reason why I graded it is because this was around the time that Wata was super popular, before it got all of its negative publicity. And I figured, you know what, let's just do it. It'll be a cool add to the collection. I am a big proponent of playing your games. I think it's cool to have sealed copies, graded copies. All of it's cool. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all part of your collection. I like having this because it's so iconic, and it was a time in my life that, hey, it was cool to me. And you know what? I have a bunch of loose copies of this game anyway. So if I really want to play it, it's not a big deal. And let's be honest, it's Super Mario. You can get it anywhere. So number 2, Super Mario Brothers for the NES, a Wata 7.5 CIB, $417. Okay, so before we get into number 1, I wanted to have 3 honorable mentions. So these are some games that just didn't quite make the top 10, and I'll get into those now. So number 1 out of that, we have Zelda Twilight Princess for the GameCube, coming in at $170 complete. Number 2, Silent Hill 2 for the PlayStation 2, coming in at $190. And number 3, just outside the honorable mention, is Super Smash Brothers for the N64 complete in box. Pretty cool. Actually, one of my good buddies gave it to me, and we're still trying to work out a deal. I'll probably never end up paying him the money because I'm sneaky that way. Just kidding. I'll obviously pay you, but pretty cool that he actually kept this for this long and has this. And the box isn't in great condition, but come on. I mean, it's Super Smash Brothers. It's iconic. So the fact that I have that is pretty cool. And okay, so you've all been waiting for, well, at least I hope you've all been waiting for number 1. And number 1, I've showed it before, and I'm going to show it again. It is a classic for the Super Nintendo, but it's not a game that everyone's played, or to be honest, it's not a lot of game. It's not a game that a lot of people have heard of. They've heard of the other games for this system, but they've never really heard of this one. But yeah, that's Castlevania Dracula X for the Super Nintendo. Now this game specifically, I've gotten an acrylic case. It's minty. Here, I'll take it out actually. But yeah, it is mint, guys. Like, check that out. It's a perfect label. I mean, there's a little bit of dirt and grime on it. I still got to clean that up because I picked it up pretty recently. But it is a clean copy. Now, the game itself is expensive, but if it was just the game, it actually probably wouldn't be my most expensive game. But what makes it so expensive is that it comes with the manual as well. Now, the manual itself goes for anywhere from $200 to $300. Just this little piece, $200 to $300. So in total, Dracula X with the manual comes out to $580. I've seen this fluctuate anywhere up to $600 to $700 for these two, but right now it's settling in at $680, which is insane. And I was just laughing because it's got a kids to adults rating. So Castlevania Dracula X is a kids to adult game. But yeah, no, there you go. That's I can't believe it's worth that much. I can't believe I have this game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's the top 10 most expensive games in my collection. I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.